Muddy roads that left tens of thousands of partygoers stranded for days at a festival had dried up enough this afternoon to allow for a mass exodus from the Nevada desert. A late summer storm turned the annual Burning Man festival into a mud pit over the weekend after more than half an inch of rain drenched the grounds. The event traditionally culminates in the torching of a large wooden man and temple structure during the final 2 nights. But the fires were postponed as authorities worked to reopen exit routes by the end of the Labor Day weekend. A week-long counterculture festival to end the summer season usually signals a good time. But that's not the case this year, as about 70,000 people remain stranded in a Nevada desert. The annual Burning Man festival got soaked by major rains, trapping tens of thousands of attendees in the Black Rock Desert with no working toilets.
We planned on leaving right after the burn, which is Saturday night, and then it started raining on us like that night, and we were like, oh, it's fine, it's okay. Everybody was still partying, having fun. Everybody took their shoes off, started dancing in the mud. It was great, and then the reality sunk in that we couldn't leave. Like, we were stuck, basically.
The Black Rock Desert received 2 to 3 months worth of rain Friday and Saturday. Amid the flooding, revelers were urged to conserve their food and water, and most remained hunkered down at the site.
You don't expect this kind of rain, and the effect, nobody's ever seen this kind of effect in there, ever, in the history of 1988 on.
People are trying to get out, but the roads are still pretty muddy, and there's still standing water, and so there's new roads that are forming around, and that's just people working together to get each other out of jams.
If you even try to ride your bike or you walk, there's lots of dry pockets, but then there's puddles still, and there's still a lot of really wet stuff. So as you ride your bike or as you walk or as you drive, you're going to accumulate mud on those tires and those feet. It makes everything harder, and you don't want to get stuck in this and then prevent other people from leaving.
At one point, festival officials were stopping people from entering or exiting the area due to the mud. Though some were able to hitchhike their way out, including celebrity DJ Diplo and comedian Chris Rock.
So we were just like, look, we can make it out. There's no one stopping us from walking. And, you know, it was a challenge, but it was honestly one of the highlights of the whole trip was just getting out there and enjoying the time out there and, you know, seeing the desert and walking through the mud and meeting fans. And some kid recognized me on the road and said, hey, I'll give you a ride for the next 2 miles. And we gladly took it. And, we had a good time in the back of the truck.
The local county sheriff's office released a statement saying it is investigating a death that occurred during the rainstorm, though festival organizers say the death wasn't weather-related. According to a White House official, President Joe Biden has also been briefed on the matter, and his administration is working with state and local officials. The annual gathering, which launched on a San Francisco beach in 1986, attracts nearly 80,000 artists, musicians, and activists for a mix of wilderness camping and avant-garde performances. So what's it like to be mud-logged in the middle of a desert at a huge event? Well, luckily, there is Wi-Fi, and people have been sharing their experiences.
They're asking everybody to conserve water and food and ration whatever you need. We got plenty. Problem is the porta potties are getting a little overloaded. A lot of the bars have started opening back tonight. It'll probably be a big party tonight because there's nothing better to do. We're stuck.
That was Bobby White, and he joins us now. Bobby, you said in your video there will probably be a big party tonight. Was there, and how was it?
On Saturday night, there were a few parties for sure, but a lot of the camps have already started closing down, especially last night. There wasn't too much open last night.
Sometimes people say when it rains at a wedding, it's good luck, and something like this can make people pull together. So is there an element of truth to that? Did the rain make it more fun?
Oh, sure. I mean, this is going to be one of those years when you look back and be like, oh, I was there in 2023. I mean, or, you know, how was your experience with that? It is kind of a bonding thing. And that's kind of the whole thing about Burning Man. It's more of it's the journey, not the destination type thing. And this is definitely part of the journey.
How muddy was it at its worst?
Well, you know, I've been coming to Burning Man for 10 years now, and you got to be prepared for that. Even just the slightest bit of rain makes everything super slick. You can't ride your bicycle around. That's how most people get around out here. because the mud just cakes up on the tires, and then it just adds up. And then you walk around and your feet, you have like 5 pounds of mud on your feet. And yeah, any little bit of rain, and it makes the playa untravelable. And you got to be prepared for that.
Well, you seem to be wearing a coat that has remained very, very white. There doesn't seem to be a speck of mud on it. How have you kept clean for the last few days?
I don't know. Many people have said that, but it's cold out here today, and at night it gets pretty cold. I've worn this. I've just managed not to roll around in it. Normally, actually, I think it's probably cleaner than it would be because the dust would normally be blowing and catching and all that, but there's no dust for it because it's all mud. So yeah, it stayed relatively clean. But yeah, it's just at night out here you have to be lit up so that it's kind of a glowing jacket because you can get run over by a bicycle if you're not lit up.
You've chosen to stay, so have thousands of other people. Why is it so important for you to be there until the end?
Well, I think it's more of I have my RV here, and all my other campmates have either RVs or big rental trucks or things like that. And getting those out was basically impossible. Sure, you could have walked out, but what am I going to do with all my stuff? It's just the moment it started raining, I think most people here were pretty just accepted it. There's no reason to get upset. Be like, okay, it's raining. That means we're going to be stuck here maybe a couple extra days. And that's just one thing you kind of have to plan for when you come to Burning Man. It's not always going to be easy. Up until Friday, we were all saying that this was probably the best weather we've had at Burning Man in a decade.
Well, thanks for checking in with us, Bobby.
Sure, no problem. Thank you.